Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Yes, we are on a little bit earlier, so it'll be interesting to see how many people actually are able to come at 3 o'clock today than at 4 o'clock. But we will soon see. And we're just checking out our system here to make sure everything's working okay.
Hello,
And it is.
everybody.
Very good. That's what I'd like to know. Okay, so we got people coming in, and some of you I think are double dipping because we just left Russ's Shenanigans So Day. And let's see. So Stephanie is here. Hi, Stephanie. Possibly double dipping. Charlotte is here. Possibly double dipping. Brenda's here, and she is double dipping. Sue is here. Charlotte says, Happy Thanksgiving, Stephen, Walter, and all who are celebrating, and that would be all of us in Canada. Gloria is here. Hello, Gloria. Mona is here. Andy is here. And she says, Happy Canadian Thanksgiving, everybody. And Barb is here. Em is here. Let's see. Laurel is here. Sherry Cook is here. Sue Lambert is here as well. So a few people are coming in. So I guess you remembered. Of course, I did put out a short today, a reminder of it. Yeah, so we'll just give everybody another few seconds here that may be coming to join us. And we will go from there. Well, I suppose we can start in. As we're saying, we were also at Russ's Sewing Shenanigans today. Not sure when his next one's going to be. He hasn't declared that yet, but I'm sure he will. So make sure that you stay tuned on Russ's channel to find out, because that's when he usually announces it. And I do believe he has a mailing list. And I think if you want to be on his mailing list, you can just send him a note, and he will gladly put you on his mailing list. So you'll get notification and the link for the next Sewing Shenanigans Day. Lots of sewing days on here for everybody. No excuse not to find some time to sew. Patsy's here. Hi, Patsy. And Kathy is here. So yeah, people are coming in as we speak. Okay, so what have I been working on, and what has Walter been working on? Well, we'll start with me because I know what Walter's been working on.
Well, I have start doing your collar today for the
What?
shirt.
For
The pussy shirt.
the pussy shirt. Yeah. So, but weren't you having a little problem with that? Or
No,
you said
I
it's
just
finicky.
I've done that. I've had problems with colors.
So I have this to look forward to when we.
Well, that could be just me too. Actually, I should have used walking foot to go on.
No, and you didn't.
No.
Well, you should know better.
Well, yeah.
So we've got nothing for you to show at the moment. Okay, well, here's what I have to show. This is my In the Hoop table topper. It's called the poinsettia or poinsettia. I'm never sure how you say it because I've heard it said both ways. I always call it a poinsettia, but I know some people call it poinsettia. And anyways, this is it. It's the poinsettia patchwork table topper. And I don't usually like table toppers because I never have a table for them. But these ones, I did the Thanksgiving one. You saw that a few weeks ago, and it's on my coffee table in our family room right now, and it fits perfectly. And it's a round glass table. So this will take its place when I take down the Halloween decorations and start thinking about putting Christmas ones up. I kind of like the way it turned out.
Or is the quilting on it all done by?
Yep.
Yeah.
The quilting's all done by the machine. It doesn't go right through to the other side, through the
okay.
backing. And I have found usually what I do is I usually do stitch in the ditch to keep the layers together. But I'm finding on this table topper and on the Thanksgiving one, I don't need to really do that. And if I can avoid doing it, I would rather avoid it.
Mhm.
So it's fine. They don't really tell you to do that in the instructions, like to do a stitch in the ditch. I just thought it would make it a little bit more secure. But these are also ones that aren't going to get washed because they're...
Not unless you spill red wine.
Well, yeah, that could be, yeah. And what makes you think I would do that?
I don't know.
I don't know. I had a little incident with chocolate milk the other day.
Or antipasto.
Randy pasta. Well, I don't. I'm not going to serve hors d'oeuvres on this. Yeah,
Okay.
no, that's not going to happen. Well, any pasta's red anyways. No one will notice it. It'll blend right in.
Yeah,
But
it's sort of like my shirt. I got spots all over it.
well, wait.
They
Let
look
me
like gravy spots.
what?
See,
Quilter has a
my
spotted shirt.
I have spots on it, so if I spill coffee on it or gravy or something, I'm okay.
Yeah, right. It's a good shirt for that. Let's see who else is coming in. Charlotte got a lot of sewing done today on Russ's thing. Yep. Donna's here. Hi, Donna. And Robert is here. And Pat says, very pretty table topper. And Charlotte agrees. And Pat says, I have a round oak table, so the toppers are my choice because I don't like a runner on the round table. No, I agree with you, Patsy, that runners don't fit right on a round table, especially if you're going over the edges with it. So I guess that's what table toppers are for. Oh, Julie's here. She's double dipping too. So anyways, that's what we've been up to. Now I started a new project during Russ's sewing shenanigans today. It's a bit of an experiment because I'm doing an in the hoop tote bag, but I'm doing the smallest size, and I might not do all the panels that you sew together to make the tote. I might only do, there's 3 panels on each side. I'm thinking right now I'm only going to do 2 of the panels, and they will fit together okay, to make it into a tote wine bag. And I'm thinking of this as a gift for my hairdresser at Christmas time. So I'm not sure how this will really work out. Yeah, I could make a tote bag, a wine tote bag, normal, like using my sewing machine. But I like doing the in the hoop ones because the embroidery is more elaborate with those because it's basically applique with satin stitches. So that's what I'm trying. I have a theory. We'll see if my theory works on this one. Worst case scenario is just a small tote bag when I'm done, sort of a thing. But I think it'll work out. I'll be talking about it more next week on the Idiot Quilter. Julie, Philippa's here. Hi, Philippa. And Karen is here as well. So Karen's double dipping, or maybe not now at this point in time. But I think Russ is still going with his shenanigans, which is fine and dandy. We were he was a little concerned that it would overlap into our live. And so, bless Russ's little heart, he decided that he was going to end his sew day early, like just before 4 o'clock when we usually do Stephen and Walter live, so it wouldn't overlap. Then I threw a monkey wrench into his plans. I forgot that it was Thanksgiving at the time he made that announcement to me, and said, we're going to start an hour early because my family's coming here at 5 o'clock for Thanksgiving dinner. So, we can't be on the air while they're here, although that would be fun. Oh, not really. They'd all stare into the camera like zombies.
Sue Ellen says, hi, I just left Russ.
Oh, she's left Russ. That sounds bad. But anyway, so poor Russ. But that's okay because there's the replay, So, if you want to stay and sew with Russ, stay and sew with Russ. If you want to come to ours, I don't think Russ will be upset either about it. So plenty of room to do whatever you want to do. It's your decision. Okay. Oh, Jen's here. Hi, Jen. Again, double dipper. Sue Ellen Quilts just left Russ as well. And Cheryl is here. And Charlotte says, I was trying to figure out what that was you were working on, Steven. Yep, that's what it was, Charlotte, or is. Not finished it yet. Pamela is here from Minnesota. Tamala is here as well. So everybody's coming in dribs and drabs. So everybody wondered. Sue Allen says, no one was talking much. Well, Sue, it goes that way too on my pop-up sew days and on Sewing with Stephanie and Steven. Sometimes we get on a roll and everybody's just blabbing their heads off, and then we have silent periods. And then it starts up again. It's kind of the way it moves.
Yeah, and if you do a men's sew day, it's all silent all the way through.
Oh, God, yeah. Actually, I hate to say it, but the men's sew days, when I had those, they were boring as hell. Because there wasn't much chatter on there. So, yeah, and that's also one reason why I kind of stopped doing men's sewing day.
Well,
I wasn't getting any men.
Yeah, a lot of people were
Well, they're a bunch of
having
flags.
other plans.
Well, they were kind of okay. I'll be honest about it. Most of the men that were on there, with the exception of probably Ron, were gay, and
You can't rely
you
on
can't
gay people.
rely on gay men. No, they're fickle. Yeah, they really are. So yeah, but so they I put it out there way back when I decided to do this, do a men's so day, and I got a bunch of, oh yeah, include me, and I had
Yeah,
them on
one
the
guy
mailing list.
kept saying, "Oh yeah, I'm coming for sure," and never came.
Never showed up. Yeah. And then there was another person on there. He was double booking all the time. Oh, I'm popping in for a minute. I've got two other things going. Well, that is kind of how it works in the gay world too. Um, I
Yeah, if
mean,
you try and invite somebody for dinner, you're unless they're a friend that you really, really know well.
yeah,
So a lot of times you get an excuse at the last minute. Oh, something else came up.
yeah. They wait for see if there's a better offer coming on. So it didn't really
Or they won't
surprise me.
commit.
Yeah, yeah. They just yeah. So I figured I'm flogging a dead horse with that, so I just decided, yeah, not doing that. Stick with what we know. Pop-up so days, sewing with Stephanie and Steven, those kind of things. Russ's now. Plenty of opportunity out there, and they're more interesting. I really hate to say that against my own sex, but yeah, the so days with the majority of them being having women are more interesting, the conversations. Um okay. So what's that take us to? We talked about what Walter's working on, what I'm working on. So if you don't know what we mean by Russ's sewing shenanigans days, where you been? Russ is doing them. They're kind of like my pop-up sew days.
Yeah, Russ of
Quilt Meets World. Yep. If you've never checked out Russ's channel, you need to. I have a listing for him in the show notes. There's a listing there for Stephanie, Stephanie Stitches. There's one for Russ. There's one for Adam Sews, and there's one for Sean, the guy who sews, as well. So if you've never checked all of those out before, do so, because each of us brings something a little different to the YouTube table as well. So, and I'm sure you'll find something to your liking as well. M says, I'm not fickle. I just can't tell time. I want to sew a short with Stephanie and Steven, but I kept getting the time wrong. Oh, well, it's difficult, M, for you because you're over in Taiwan. Yeah, so it does become very, very confusing trying to figure out time zones for these things. But anyways, you'll make it one time, and you're more than welcome to join us. So yeah, so watch for Russ's. I said Russ's next sewing shenanigans. I'm trying to think of what interesting topics we ended up discussing today. We saw some interesting projects people are working on. Let's see. We didn't talk about fish farts, and we have talked about fish farts on other days. Don't ask me why. And yeah, I can't remember what we talked about. There was stuff. We talked about animals. We talked about the dangers of those automatic kitty litter cleaners on your cat, that some of them have killed people's pets. So yeah, death trap there. Sue says, our Wednesday group may be really chatty, but we're really entertaining too. So if you're bored, join Stephen and Stephanie on Wednesday. Yeah, we do tend to be very entertaining because, well, we have quite an entertaining group. All are welcome. If you've never been to one, links in the show notes for that. Okay, so that was taking me up to sewing with Stephanie and Steven. So I think we've said what we need to say about that. Let's talk about the fall retreat, because that's the next big event. The Idiot Quilter Fall 2024 retreat next Saturday. Doors open at 8. Official opening is at 9. Now, there are still a few spots left. So if you've been sitting on the fence, you didn't know whether you want to come or not, now's the time to make the decision. If you want to come, I think I can accommodate you. There's 75 people signed up, so there are 20 spots left. All you need to do is send me an email, and you'll find the email, a link to the email in the show notes. and just give me your first and your last name, real first and last name, and I will confirm you and reserve a spot for you. Yeah. And if you haven't seen the video, the link is still there for the video that explains all the ins and outs. And I will be sending out to everybody that has already signed up a very extensive email on Monday at some point. You'll probably get it late Monday morning. And in it, it will contain the link for the day, the Zoom link, because those of you that may not know, this is a Zoom. It is not recorded, okay? It is not a YouTube Live. And there will also be another link for Friday night. Friday night, we have at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, we have the Icebreaker cocktail party, as I call it, where, you know, it's an opportunity for people to come together in a very relaxed atmosphere. You can bring sewing if you wish, but we don't usually do any sewing on it, but you can if you want to. And bring along something, if you wish, that you'd like to share with us. Now, if you've already submitted a picture of an item for the show and share show that will be running during the retreat, don't show that, okay? Because that's already going to be shown. But if you've got something else, and somebody asked me the other day, does it have to be a quilt? No, it does not. It can be anything creative. So if you also knit, you want to show something like that, if you paint, if you do cross stitch, if you do embroidery work, whatever, anything that's creative and you like it, something that's maybe one of your personal favorites and you'd like to show it off, and if there's even a little story behind it, you can take a minute or two to share that story behind it as well and show it at the cocktail party. Or you can also submit it, you can submit it, not also, but or you can submit it for the show and share. Now, they have been coming in, and that's great, but there's a deadline. And the deadline is midnight, Monday night, October the 14th, midnight as in Eastern time. Because the next day I'll be putting the slideshow together. So it's kind of difficult when I get the slideshow up and running to add anything to it. So I need time to put it together with that many people submitting things, and I've got quite a few. So yeah. Now, one picture only. I've already had a couple of people try to slip in a couple. Sorry, they're beautiful, but you've got to make the decision. I will not make the decision. It can only be one picture. Do not write a description. All I need is your first and your last name. That's it. Because I'm not going to put descriptions in next to your creations because people aren't going to be reading. They're going to be looking at what you have created, and there'll be like sort of a musical soundtrack in the background as the slides go by. Okay, so yeah.
Did it say anything about all reply all one?
Oh, okay. Some of you that have registered for the retreat may have already got a little preview of some people's pictures because you just replied to the email that I sent out reminding you about the slideshow. Well, I did it as a blind carbon copy, which means you couldn't see that this message had been sent out to other people. But when you replied to it, everybody else got to see your picture as well. And if you're one of the people who received those pictures, that is why. Now I only have...
That's a reply all though.
That's a reply all. Yeah, you've got to just...
If you do a regular reply, just a reply, you don't have a problem. It just goes to Stephen. But if you do a reply all, it goes to everybody.
Well, yeah, but in some cases, they may not know that there's a reply all. It may default to reply all.
Oh, okay.
Because it does on my Simpatico.
Oh, okay. Mine doesn't. Mine always has a choice.
Yeah, well, you've got Gmail you're using. I was using Gmail too, but when people are sending it back. So anyways, I mean, it's not that big a deal. It just means for some people, they're going to wonder, why am I seeing this person's quilt? I may not even know this person, but that would be why. Okay. So anyways, what else do I need to tell you about the retreat? Okay, in that email, I've already said there's the Zoom links for the cocktail party and for the day of. Okay. The other thing is there are some tips and tricks for anybody that might be new to Zoom. I have linked some YouTube videos. Now, the YouTube videos are a little bit dated, but I looked for ones that were a little more current, and I really couldn't find any that didn't go on for days. And so if you are on a device like an Android, there is a video link to YouTube to explain the basics of using Zoom with an Android device or with an iPad or with an iPhone or with a Mac or with a PC. So those are all there. So if you're somebody that hasn't really used Zoom a lot or whatever, I mean, we're only going to be doing basic stuff. All you're going to have to know how to do is basically how to connect to Zoom. That's all you're going to need. And you should know how to change your name if your name defaults to something else. Although if that's a problem, I can go in and change it for you, and I probably will, because I want your real name to appear, both first and last, no nicknames. With that, I want the name you registered with. More about why that's important in a second. You'll also have to know how to turn on your camera, because this is not anonymous, okay? One of the requirements for this is that you have a working camera. We need to see you. Again, it's a security issue, okay? And you'll need how to turn on your sound. So most people, I think, know how to do that. But if you're in doubt, those videos will help you out. Also, there's a section on etiquette, which I will be going over at the cocktail party as well. And basically, it's really simple. This is a fun day, so we're not going to talk about politics. We're not going to talk about religion. We may talk a little bit about the weather. That's okay. But it's a safe zone, meaning that we're not there to incite people to violence because we all have different political views. So we're not going to talk about politics at all, nor anything that's controversial. Okay, we're not going to get into that. We want to keep things light and pleasant and happy for everybody. I also make a suggestion that because there's so many of us at one time, it would be really good if you keep your microphone on mute until you want to say something. The reason for that is because things happen. Like we have had people who have gotten a phone call in the middle of a live Zoom, and we hear the conversation and they don't realize that we hear the conversation. Or you have someone walk into your room, where you're sewing and start, what's for lunch, or grandma, this kind of stuff, or the dog's barking.
Woof, woof.
Yeah, woof, woof. Love your pets, love to see your kitties, love to see your dogs, but, animals should be seen and not heard. Because the problem is you become center stage. Because what Zoom does is it focuses on whoever is talking or whatever noise is loudest at the time.
And it highlights you.
And it highlights you. Yes, and you might not want that. Okay? Now, I know some people will forget. It happens all the time. And don't take offense if I mute you. Okay? It means that we can hear you, or we can hear your sewing machine. Okay, that's the other thing that can pop up. And that's just annoying to everybody, right? So I may just go in and mute you on that. Don't take offense to it. I know you kind of forgot. Okay. Also, sometimes it's difficult for me if there's a conversation going on and suddenly your machine is interrupting it. Instead of me saying to you, excuse me, like I'd have to interrupt the conversation, I just go in and mute you myself. The only thing I can't do is I can't unmute you. You have to do that yourself. Okay? So that's about it. That's all for etiquette. And as I said, at the cocktail party, I'll go over it again. And there'll be a reminder thing that'll come up on the screen up in one corner on the day of. That's sort of, I call my announcement screen. That just tells you what's coming up next. So, what is coming up on all of this? Well, you will get the agenda in that email on Monday for the day, broken down by time. Now, the reason I do that is you have a spot. You have booked. That spot is yours. But if you have to leave at any point in time, that spot's still there for you when you come back. Okay? I would suggest if you have to leave, like you've got to check something in the house, you've got to go to the washroom or whatever, you just put yourself on mute if it's not already on mute and just go ahead, leave and then come back. I don't suggest you go right out and then come right in again, unless you're going to be away for an extended period of time, like you have suddenly an errand to run and you've got to leave for an hour. Then that might be a good time to, do that. But nobody's going to get your spot. Okay, that spot is yours. What else do I need to say about that? Okay, so you have the agenda, and during the day, we do have two special presenters and a panel discussion. Who are our presenters? Well, in the past, I've gotten people who have maybe a YouTube channel or maybe somebody that I don't usually get the world famous because, one, I can't afford to pay them, and many of those types of people want to be paid. The other thing too is some of the big names out there, they're not going to deal with me. I'm not that important to them. So I tried to find people in the past that have, but I've noticed on YouTube have been doing something interesting. And I've reached out to them and they've kindly enough said they would, be a presenter. This year, I decided to go a different route, or this time. I have taken a couple of my regular subscribers. They're two people that I know very well through Pop-Up Sew Days, Sewing with Stephanie and Stephen, and other events. And they're very creative. They're very interesting. And I've asked them for three things. One, to do a little mini interview with them about their quilting journey, to show us their quilting or their sewing area as well, because I know we're all busybodies and we love to see what other people's environments are like. And I've asked them to do a little trunk show as well, to show us some of their favorite or unique creations, because both of these individuals do have very, very creative and nice work, and so it deserves to be seen. Who are the two people? Well, you will know their names. Sue Norfleet is one of them, and the other one is Lydia Yates. Sue is in the United States, in Missouri, I believe in Jefferson City, Missouri, and Lydia is in the Ottawa area, and so she's Canadian. So I've got a Canadian and an American for this. We're doing across the border. Both are fantastic quilters. Both are interesting to listen to, and I'm really excited and happy that they agreed to do this, because unfortunately I cannot pay them, so all they have is my undying gratitude for taking the time to do this. But I know you're going to find them very, very interesting. No pressure. Sue and Lydia. Now, we're also going to have a panel discussion, and that's going to involve both Sue and Lydia and somebody else you all are know very well, also a friend of mine, Stephanie of Stephanie Stitches. And the panel discussion is about technology and quilting, or technology versus traditional quilting, and how they use it, how they feel about it, technology, and within quilting, and what they see as being the future of this, because quilting is always changing, as we well know. And there's a lot of controversy around how far we should be going with our computer technology, for example, on our long arms, or, using like what some of us do, machine embroidery, things like that. So I suspect this is going to be, no, not suspect, I know this is going to be a very interesting and lively discussion. And I will moderate it, keep each person from knifing the other, not that they would do that. So yeah, that's something I have never tried before on one of the retreats as well. So besides all that, there will be prizes. Yes, there are prizes. The prizes will consist of Amazon gift certificates and digital patterns as well. And there will be random draws throughout the day. And I will tell you when the draws are coming up. So if you, now there's one stipulation. When the draws are made, you have to be physically present on screen. And if you get called and you're not there, I spin the big wheel. Yes, there is a big wheel. I will spin the big wheel again for that. So that's why I will tell you when the next draw is, and I will give you a countdown. There will be a little timer block that will come up on my screen, on my picture of me, on my feed, and you'll see when the next draw is going to be. So you can time your bathroom breaks or getting a cup of coffee or eating around that. And there's lots and lots of prizes. Okay. And those prizes will also include a couple of digital patterns from Stephanie of Stephanie Stitches as well, who's very kindly donated them for this as well. So thank you, Stephanie, for that. And I'm sure you'll be excited to, if you win one of those as well, because they're beautiful. So that's a lot about the retreat. As I said, all this information will be coming out in detail on Monday to those of you that are registered for this. So, any questions? If there are questions, feel free to send me an email, but I think everything will be very self-explanatory once you get the email. Okay, let's back up and see what people are saying here. Patsy
M said shirt, not short.
Oh, okay. That's why I kind of thought he meant. Yeah.
Patsy wants to know what's for dinner.
Okay, so yeah, the next thing we've got happening today is, of course, we have my family, my sister's family are coming for Thanksgiving dinner here. That's why we're on earlier today, and we will be leaving earlier. Instead of running about 90 minutes, we'll be running only about an hour. We'll be finishing this up around 4 o'clock. So we can get last minute things we have to get done before they arrive. Well, we're having traditional.
We're having turkey.
Turkey. Walter, okay, gotta tell you about the turkey. Okay, I told the people on early part of today on Russ's Shenanigans. Okay, we're not going to tell my sister this because she'll freak. We have a turkey that we bought last November. Now,
no, actually, that's December.
Was it December? Yeah. Okay. Last December. Why did we have a turkey that long? Well, first of all, we did look it up on the internet, and turkeys you can freeze almost indefinitely. So you don't have to worry about that.
And our freezer's like minus 12,
yeah.
minus 20 most of the time.
This bird we took out, on Monday and put it in the fridge to thaw out.
It was solid.
And Walter cooked it yesterday.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was pretty solid bird. But when Walter was preparing it, you discovered something about
I discovered that I must have bought a utility turkey, and utility turkeys usually end up having a missing wing or something like that. So
this one's missing a wing, but we also think it lost part of one leg.
Yeah, because I didn't have a full leg either.
So we're having a crippled turkey.
We're having roadkill turkey.
Yeah, so I'm going to just push it up to the table in a wheelchair. That. But
that's okay. It tastes okay.
Yeah, actually, the bird was very juicy. Walter cooked it upside down, white is a technique, I guess, wasn't it?
Yeah, it ends up, the breast ends up sitting in the juices. So
yeah, the white meat, it's kind of, because sometimes the white meat's a little dry. I tried a little piece of it, and actually, it's a good bird that we got. So we're having bird. We're having, of course, stuffing, dressing, whatever you call it. Now, I don't
stuff the turkey.
No, we don't stuff the turkey because.
But what I usually do is, which I did this time, is I took the neck and I made turkey broth out of it, right? And then I made turkey broth out of it, and then I fried up some onions and some celery, and I usually do some carrot, and I forgot this time, but anyway. And then I just buy store-bought stuffing mix and basically doctor it with the additives plus the broth to make it a little bit more authentic. And then I had leftover broth that I add to the gravy so that we can have a higher volume of gravy.
I just caught Barb's message. She said that she didn't get the email. with the links to the Zoom. I right after the live, Barb, I will send it out to you. I don't. You should have got it, but I'll send it again. So
Yeah. So
not to
anyway,
worry.
so we have turkey stuffing gravy, cranberries, right?
Yes,
Um,
fresh cranberries.
Yeah, fresh cranberries.
I made them.
Then we've got scalloped potatoes, beans, and carrots. Did I miss anything else? And for dessert, we have chiffon, freshly made from fresh pumpkins, chiffon pumpkin pie.
Yeah. So Walter was panicking though because
Yeah, because my cookbook, I usually I have a cookbook that I usually, which is a Home and Garden Betty Crocker. I don't know if it's Betty Crocker, it's Home and Garden cookbook that I've had for like 40 years, and I don't make pumpkin pie very often, and it has a pumpkin pie recipe in it, so I don't know what I'm doing, so I just follow the pumpkin pie recipe, and I thought this seems odd. I thought it was a little odd the way the pumpkin pie recipe was, but I didn't really think about it, didn't question it. And then later on, I realized that it's a chiffon pumpkin pie.
chiffon.
But it's not listed as a chiffon pumpkin pie. So I analyzed the cookbook, and their pumpkin pie recipe does it the way a chiffon pumpkin pie is supposed to done. And they also have a chiffon pumpkin pie recipe that is like more traditional pumpkin pie recipe. So it's like they mix them up.
Yeah, that's your story.
No, but actually the crusts are different. The traditional pumpkin pie recipe has what's normally a chiffon pumpkin pie crust, and the pumpkin pie recipe, which is the chiffon one, has a regular crust.
Yeah.
So it's like half and half.
So when it was in the oven, boy, did it puffed up like a souffle.
Yeah.
And Walter's watching it. But anyways, you finished cooking it last night and everything, and you put it in the fridge.
And I thought I may have overcooked it, which I probably did.
It's a little dark.
Yeah,
on the top.
that's the.
It's not burnt.
That's the
It's
one
a
that
little
has less sugar in it.
Oh, okay.
The other one's okay.
So, anyways, we tried a little sample piece to make sure it was okay because you still had.
Because I had thought of making a regular pumpkin pie that I got another recipe from the internet today if the other one didn't turn out well. And so I made one with less sugar and one with more sugar, one with sugar substitute, I mean. And I tried the one with sugar substitute, and it tastes fine.
Yeah, yeah, it did. Actually, it's
It
really
tastes really
good.
good.
It's really tastes good. But we're not going to tell my sister that we have sugar substitute in it because she'll freak.
Well, no, one's got sugar substitute. The other one has sugar in it.
Oh, okay. Are we going to give her a choice?
Yeah, well, I don't know. I might give her a choice.
Okay, like I was just going to say, you keep it quiet. She won't know the difference.
Well, I
My
can give
sister
them
freaks.
say I've got ones with sugar substitute, one with
Yeah.
regular.
So, but on the dressing, that Walter made the dressing, but we use stovetop.
That's what I said. A package.
Oh, did you already say?
Yeah.
Oh, I was busy writing down notes to myself here. So, anyways, but you added things to it.
I added things to it, so it's not just
Yeah.
plain stovetop.
So I made scalloped potatoes au gratin. And so that means there's cheese in it and everything like that. And, when you make scalloped potatoes, there is milk. Well, one of the people coming, which is my nephew's girlfriend, we got told is lactose intolerant and also has to be gluten-free.
Well, the pie is neither gluten-free or lactose free.
Yeah, well, my sister said
So-
she ate some of her pumpkin pie a week ago or something
Well,
and didn't have
I
a
mean,
problem.
you can have that, or I do have lactose-free and sugar-free ice cream.
Yeah.
So
So what I did with the scalloped potatoes, I did make the scalloped potatoes with lactose-free milk, but I made a special second smaller dish of scalloped potatoes with the lactose milk and no cheese in it. So there's still a little flour in it though, however, and that's like, it's not, I didn't use something to substitute for that. So I will warn her that this is what's in there, but yeah, I don't know.
like my sugar-free pie is not actually sugar-free because it has evaporated milk in it, and evaporated milk has a fair bit of sugar in it.
Yeah, Barb says,
So-
what did you use as the sugar substitute?
It's a monk fruit erythritol mix.
And Patsy says they make cornbread dressing in the South. Yummy. Yeah, every area
I
has
hate
its way.
cornbread.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of corn. Anytime I've had cornbread, it's always falls apart and it's dry and.
Cornbread's a really American thing.
But then maybe we've never really had decent cornbread either. Okay, because like Walter says, cornbread is not something that's common in Canada. That's more of a Southern United States food, I think. But just backing up on what people are saying here. Jeannie's here. Hi, Jeannie. Pat says, and Pat's here, so helpful doing the shirt videos. Great student teacher. Well, thank you, Pat. Oh, Robert Cox, the crippled turkey. Sue says, don't make fun of the handicap. Well, I was just making fun of a dead turkey. So I don't think the turkey will take offense to it, but yeah. Oh, Barb says her mother used to cook the giblets and then feed them to the cat. We don't have a cat to feed them to. I know some people make giblet gravy with it. I don't know if
there weren't actually any. This handicap bird didn't have any giblets.
No, did have a neck.
It had a neck, but
yeah. Charlotte says it's safer not to put the stuffing in the bird. Yeah, that's what we've read.
Actually, I've never. My sister used to do it that way. Is cook the neck separate to make stock.
Yeah, my mother used to do that too, but yeah. Charlotte likes the giblets. They're her favorite part of the turkey. What are the giblets?
Oh, it's the heart and the liver and stuff.
Ooh, no, yuck, ick, no. Patsy says I feel sure the pie will be delicious. I have to check my cooker, which I think is the same as yours.
Mine isn't. Mine is the House and Garden book, but it's the illustrated book. And it's different than the regular book. So I don't know what the regular book is.
Okay, I don't know. Yeah, Patsy, that's what I said. I probably never have had decent cornbread. Some cornbread is good, but most restaurants isn't good. Okay, Candace says. Yeah, and that's probably the only place I've ever had it is in a restaurant here. There's a place we go to for lunch on a regular basis, and I don't think they have it now, but at one point they were serving cornbread with certain ones of their meals, and
yeah,
it was not.
And
great.
I always asked them to sub. Even when I had it there, I never liked it.
Oh, Kathy's here. Hi, Kathy.
I find it's dry, and I don't like the sweet flavor of it.
Patsy says, man, you sure did hire the handicap. I'm not sure what that means. Andy says, my ex-brother-in-law showed for Thanksgiving and complained because he was a vegetarian. His father told him he should have brought his own food. Yeah, really? Well, he should have also let people know who are hosting it that he's a vegetarian. Yeah. You know, you can cook vegetables for them. It's not a problem. Colleen's here. Hi, Colleen. Melissa says, that's a super idea for your presenters. Okay, good. I'm glad you're excited by that. So anyways, yep, that's what we've got. Now, we had another dinner party this week as well. It's been the week of dinner parties because Ron, and I'm sure many of you know who Ron is. Ron's from Nova Scotia. He comes on the pop-up sew days often, and he's sometimes on Sewing with Stephanie and Stephen and that. And Ron and his wife, Joan, they came out to Ontario, to our end of the world, because they were going to a wedding. And so they came for dinner on Wednesday night. And oh my God, we may have drank a little too much. We'd gone out and got wine for today. And we also got some wine, a couple of bottles of wine, like 750 milliliter bottles of wine for when we were having Ron and Joan. Ron and Joan left at about 1:30 in the morning. We had a really good time. There was no wine left whatsoever. We drank those two small bottles, plus we had bought two 1.5 liter bottles of wine as well. We drank those too, between 4 people. Yeah, no wonder the next day I was a little foggy. Haven't done that in a long time. So off to the liquor store, we went to replenish the supply. And we had a really nice time with them. It was nice to see them. And they were not driving, before anybody asks. They came from their hotel via taxi, and they left by taxi. So, you know. Yeah. But I had kind of forgotten how East Coasters can definitely drink us in our province under the table. There's no two ways about it. And they even brought us a couple of bottles of their wine that they make. And we haven't tried it yet. I'll be honest, I'm a little afraid to because it's like kind of homemade. I think they go to one of those places.
Yeah, I'm not
but
sure. I just find that anytime I've had somebody's homemade wine, I've never really liked it that
Yeah,
much.
but maybe
But
we'll
it
be
might be
surprised.
fine. Who knows?
So we will try that.
Yeah, actually, Pat's was a Patsy. Yeah, no, it had no wing. I had one leg. Had one leg. No,
one whole leg.
It had two legs, but the very bottom of the leg was missing. No, a part of it was missing. I noticed when I was taking it apart.
And no neck. Well, there was a neck.
No, there was a neck, but there were no giblets. So
yeah. So, anyways,
because I made stock from the neck.
Yeah. So, anyways, we had a really nice evening, and they brought me a little gift because you know how I love gnomes. Well, here you go.
The dragon eats the gnome.
They got it at the Big Pussy, also known as Giant Tiger. We call it the Big Pussy. And yeah, this is just hilarious. So it is now a permanent fixture in my sewing room for that. Yeah. Poor little gnomes being eaten by a dinosaur. Suits my sense of humor. So that worked out fine.
Since you're a dinosaur.
Oh, you'll bite me. Yeah, well, you're a gnome. You're fat and pudgy and short. Yeah, whatever.
And I wear a hat.
And you wear a hat. Yeah. You look like a gnome when you wear a hat. Yeah. So it was nice to see them. We had a really nice time. What I remember of it. For that. So we're doing Thanksgiving dinner today. Now, so chatty this week. We've moved on. Last week we did cutting the pattern out, and this time Walter showed me how to do the button band, which I think went pretty good.
I had him do one button band before we filmed it on camera. So one button band was done. I got Steve to do it first off camera, and then we did a second button band that we did on camera. So if somebody isn't listening to the whole video, they might think we only did one button.
Yeah, because somebody did make a comment about that. They asked me, do we only do one side? No, we did both, as Walter said.
Just because on the button band, you have one side is got your buttons on it. The other side has your buttonholes on it. So and they have to be interfaced.
Yeah. So so far so good. I'm finding I don't mind what we're doing, but we haven't got to the hard stuff yet. So next week, what are we doing? We teaching?
Next week we're gonna do the pocket, and that's a little time consuming at times.
Time consuming at times. Okay.
It can be a little time consuming because I match the pocket with the front of the shirt, and then the other thing. So I said to him, if the pocket takes too long, we'll just do the pocket, and then if we get the pocket done within a reasonable amount of time, we'll do this. We'll attach the front panels to the back panels and do the shoulder seam.
Yeah. Oh, we did the yoke.
Oh yeah, we did the yoke.
No yoke.
We did the back. The back has what do you call it? I don't
darts.
Pleats. No, pleats.
Pleats.
The back has pleats in it, and then there's two yoke pieces to attach to the back. And so we did the yoke pieces because there's a yoke for the back of the shirt, and one ends up on the inside of the shirt. And there's a top stitch that goes around.
Yeah, and then he told me I had to graduate the seams.
Grade the
seams, whatever.
A, B, and C.
Yeah, and that was a little trickier. Can't say I enjoyed that part.
No, I don't like doing that either.
I was really afraid I was going to cut my stitches, and I didn't want to do that. But you did suggest that you said you did it by holding it in your lap. I was doing it on the table. But actually, I went to putting it in my lap. That was easier, I found, with that, too. And when we did the video this week, I think our sound was probably a little better because I bought from Amazon wireless microphones. They're not the world's most expensive set because I didn't want to invest in those ones that have a battery pack that you wear on your rear end kind of a thing. These ones are a little simpler, but they seem to work pretty good. So I was impressed with that purchase, and it only cost me like about $26 for that, so that was okay. So yeah, so next week we are, what did we say?
Next week we'll do the pocket, and then if we have enough time, we'll do the the shoulder seams, and then after that we have to do sleeves.
The sleeves. Of course, you've got that new method. That
I have
you
a new method,
use.
and it's a little easier to do the sleeves.
So anyway, so far I'm kind of enjoying it. I'm kind of excited about moving on to the next thing. And my idea here, baby steps at the moment, but if this works out, then I want to try to make another shirt on my own. I'll follow the pattern, but and the instructions in the pattern. But I want to see if I can do it with less help from Walter. We'll see how that works out. And then after that, I have this idea in my head. I don't know if it's a feasible idea, whether it's a crazy idea, but I'd like to try making a like quilted shirt. But when I say quilted shirt, I'm talking about more of a maybe vest style or something like that, which though that means it would have to be probably lined. And
Yeah, well, that gets a little bit more complicated.
I know.
Plus, your pockets have to be different.
Yeah, well, we'll see. I don't know. I may not venture into that territory with it. It's eating into my quilting time. So we'll see. Colleen says, now your Royal Daltons have good company. Yeah, my Royal Daltons, they're my mother's Royal Daltons, are all still in the boxes. I don't know what to do with them because I don't want them. But on the other hand,
Maybe your sister's, your
my sister's,
maybe the girlfriend.
wants that. Yeah, let's not get into that discussion right now about all of that. Okay. But anyways, what else? Oh, well, we thought we were getting ahead of the game. I booked us COVID shots for last week, Friday, actually, at our local Shoppers Drug Mart. And so off we went. We had an appointment for 12 o'clock. Off we went to Shoppers Drug Mart. We get up there, and the guy says to me, oh, yeah, here's your booking. Looked up on the computer, because you do it all via computer, and said, yeah, is Moderna okay? And we went, no, we want Pfizer. Well, we don't have Pfizer. Well, on the website, when I booked this all, it asked me which ones I wanted. I said Pfizer on there. Yeah, he says, sorry, we don't have those yet. Well, when are you getting it? They don't know. So we didn't get it. We didn't get the shot.
I mean, I figure we can always get Moderna at some point if we choose to. So
yeah, and in fact, we went to another Shoppers Drug Mart just to see out of curiosity if it was just happened to be that branch or that location or all Shoppers Drug Mart. Well, I think it's all Shoppers Drug Mart, but it's on their website. Yeah,
they supposedly have 3 that you can choose from: 2 mNRAs, which is Pfizer and Moderna, and Steve and I have always had Pfizer, except for the very first shot we had. I forget AstraZeneca.
Yeah, we had some other thing at the time.
And when we had the AstraZeneca, we had a lot of side effects. At least I did.
And the Moderna isn't up to date with the strain.
Actually, it is up to date.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you said the other day it wasn't.
No, it's the third one.
Oh,
there's 2 mRNAs, and there's one that's not an mRNA, and it's not up to date.
Oh, okay.
So, I mean, we can always do Moderna if
well, yeah.
But I was a little leery to do the Moderna because I know a lot of people have had side effects with it. And since we were having people for dinner on Thanksgiving,
we didn't really want to.
I didn't really want to get sick. I mean, if we did Moderna, then I'd like to have a couple of days so that I know that we feel that we're not doing anything.
So we'll wait it out for a little bit longer and see what happens. And if it looks like we can't get, like, there's other places. Walter's going to explore the beginning of the week to see other drugstore chains like Rexall or whatever and see what they're offering, what they have.
Well, I sort of looked at Rexall, but you have to go through the whole appointment process, and their appointments don't start till after the 19th or something.
Well, the 19th is next
Saturday.
Oh, right. So yeah, well, we're not doing it.
And we already have our flu shots booked for, what is it, the 7th or the 8th?
The 7th of November with our doctor.
Yeah.
Our doctor's running a clinic, so we've got that booked already. So, now a lot of people I have heard on Stephanie and Steven the other day said that they got both shots at the same time, and several of them were saying they felt really sick after they'd never had them doubled up before, and so wondering if like that's maybe not a good idea to get the two of them at once.
I think I'd kind of rather get one. I space them apart a bit.
Yeah, and see. So, yeah, I don't know. Well, anyways, but Shoppers Drug Mart, Shoppers, like, they're the ones that own the super, they're Loblaws. And you've heard us talk about Loblaws. It's a huge grocery store chain here in Canada that have been gouging the shit out of all of us. And their CEO, Galen Weston, the Weston family that own it are filthy rich and the whole bit. And they just, every nickel and dime they go after. It's ridiculous with them. So this shouldn't be a surprise. They own Shoppers Drug Mart, and there's a Shoppers Drug Mart on practically on every corner across from a Tim Hortons practically here in Canada. So, it's just annoying. You want to get these things done, and then they screw around with you. Like, why put it up that it's available when it's not? You liars, liars, liars.
Kathy Patterson said she got both shots at the same time. She didn't have any trouble.
Didn't have any trouble? Except a little swelling and soreness.
Yeah, you never know.
I don't know. I've never had a reaction to a COVID shot or a flu shot, but I've never had both of them at the same time.
Well, the only one I had a problem with was the AstraZeneca shot, which was the first COVID shot. Oh. I had a few problems with that.
Yeah, you did. I didn't have any problem, but, who knows? But whatever. Kim's here. Hi, Kim.
I had a few weird problems with that, with the AstraZeneca.
Did you?
Yeah. Remember, I had all that skin from a certain area come off.
Oh, yeah. Like, it was rotting. So, don't know what that was all about. Barb says, can you get Pfizer through Superstore? No.
Yeah, I looked at Superstore. It takes you back to Shoppers Drug Mart.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's all owned by the same
We did
corporate.
get a shot one year at Superstore,
yes, we did.
And it was really good.
Yeah.
But now when you go to Superstore, it brings you back to Shoppers Drug Mart.
Yeah. Yeah, it's retarded. Oh, sorry, can't use that term. It's challenged with it. But, what can you do? Maureen's here. Hi, Maureen. She's here in Sydney. My GP won't give two different shots at the same time. So 7th booster this week, shingles next week. Yeah.
Well, our GPs won't give us COVID shots, at least the one I go to.
Ours doctor won't give us COVID shots, period.
So you have to do it through the drugstores.
Yeah. I mean, now they supposedly have, like, through our region, the government, there's supposed to be places where you can get these shots. But when you look up them on the website, they're weird. Weird hours, and I don't know. It's every year, this isn't anything new. We all have to get these boosters. We all have our flu shot and everything there every year. And every year they screw it up left and right. I mean, yeah. And then they want you to get, like, RS, what do you call that?
RSV, we'll worry about that later.
Yeah, well, and that, I've never had that one. I had shingles shot. I've had the pneumonia shot with that, but my doctor gave me both of those. It was her idea. She says, you never had have you ever had a shingle shot? Have you ever had I thought I had a shingle shot, but she gave me another one. So I'm a long time ago. I'm pretty sure I had a shingle shot, but it wasn't the one that they have now. So whatever. I've just been a human pincushion. Thanks, Kim. Okay, so I think we're going to call it because we've got to get things together here. Not that they all already. Just one thing though. I always look every week at the comments that people write, and some of them we talk about here. Lately, we've only had like nice comments, which is always good. So nothing much to say there. Thank you for the nice things you've said about our little sewing series here with the shirt and things like that and other things. But one little tip, okay? Some people write comments that are not intended for me. What I mean by that is they'll write a comment for somebody that I interviewed. And, like, for example, I get comments still from a 2-year-old too, or maybe it's almost 3 years ago when I interviewed Kate of The Last Homely House. And they're writing a comment that is directed towards Kate, not to me. Kate will never see that comment, okay? And the same goes with other people, that if you mean the comment for somebody I've interviewed, they're never going to see the comment, because they're not going to come back and check the comments out on the interview. I see them because I get a notification for it. Any comments that come through, it comes through my email to let me know there's been a comment written. And I'm sorry, I'm not going to copy and paste your comment and send it to the people I've interviewed. So if you want to say something to those people, then you need to go to their YouTube channel and write it on their YouTube videos or whatever, or find their email address on their channel and send it to them. Just a tip, because otherwise the comment you've written, and some people have written fairly extensive comments, it was a waste of your time because only I saw it. Okay? So yeah, just a tip to let you know about that. Okay, everybody. Well, those of you that are Canadian, have a great Thanksgiving weekend, what's left of it. And we'll see everybody. Deadline for your pictures for the show and share slideshow, Monday midnight. Friday, 7 p.m. cocktail party. Watch for the email that I'm sending out to all of you that are registered. So you'll have the links for that, and you'll have the link for the retreat next Saturday. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. Still a few spots left.
And if you don't come Saturday, we'll see you next Sunday.
Yep, for sure. And next Sunday, regular time, 4 p.m. Okay, everybody. Thanks for joining us today. Gobble, gobble. We'll see you next week.
Yeah,
bye.
bye-bye.